Hey there, thanks for checking out this episode of What's Happening at Effenberger Vineyards, where we make effing good wine. Well, we're in the middle of May. I got a lot to cover in this episode, including a Coyote update. Well, to give you a fruit update, here's a look at some of the Sangiovese that we're growing. The berries are sizing up nicely. This stuff is the farthest along, but so far everything just looks gorgeous. For comparison, here is some Cabernet Sauvignon. You can see that the berries on this plant are about half the size of the Sangiovese. But the Sangiovese is farther along, and we'll be harvesting that before the cab, probably a month ahead of time. This cab's not going to be coming off of the vine until the end of October, beginning of November. When you look at these grapes, you'll notice that most of the leaves around them are gone. We have pulled them, I was talking about this last month, so that the grapes are exposed. And that way the wind, which goes from east to west, will go down these east-west oriented rows and keep this canopy from getting too humid so that it won't breed any powdery mildew. Well, about 5 weeks ago, I replanted some vines to another rootstock to hopefully get better results. So I want to take a look and see how the young vines are doing. They're protected by plastic grow tubes. Now, this little vine is already about 2.5 feet tall. And in a few years, it'll look like this vine. Most grapevines are planted on grafted rootstock. That is, that the rootstock is a different variety of grape than what's on the top, which is the vinifera variety, or the variety that is producing the fruit that you want, like Cab or Merlot or whatever it happens to be. This is done to give the plant the best chance at growth and protect it from bugs that might be in the soil, like nematodes or phylloxera. So right here, from here down is the rootstock, and from here up is the variety of grape, or vinifera grape, which this in case happens to be Cabernet Sauvignon. So you can see right here, this vine is doing very well because the combination of the clone and the rootstock and this soil have worked out really well. Well, it's time for today's animal segment. Now, if you've been following along in the videos and know about the trials and tribulations that we've been having with the coyote population here in the vineyard, you'll know that they've been chewing through my irrigation lines and causing a whole bunch of extra work. So I finally just decided to throw in the friggin' towel and put buckets of water in the vineyard so that they would hopefully go here instead of here and chew on the lines. So to test my theory and see if it's working, I got out the Effenberger Vineyards animal cam to see what's going on out here at night. Check it out. The animal cam is activated by motion, and it looks like the rabbits have stopped by, but I don't see any shots of it drinking. And that's a raccoon. I also saw a possum. But where are the coyotes? But there's no interest in the bucket. Yeah! Now there you go, proof that they're drinking. Hopefully that keeps them from chewing the irrigation lines in their search for water. However, there's more coyote news in this update. So we had some guests over for one of our vineyard tours, and I was walking up this very path explaining the growing things, and the stuff of interest that people are interested in when they come and check out the vineyard, answering questions about grapes and whatnot. And I get to this point about right here, and the guest goes, "What's that?" And I look over and I go, maybe it's an avocado? No. It's a cat skull. So a coyote must have caught this poor cat and, ate it. And then came into the vineyard and left just the head. Seriously, just the head. Look at his little whiskers and stuff. Oh. Just a warning, if you've got a cat and you let that sucker out at night, even during the day, they could be vulnerable to death by coyote. Don't say I didn't warn you. Oof. So that takes us to today's featured wine, which happens to be our 2024 Sagrantino. Sagrantino, they think, is an ancient grape variety in Italy that goes back to Roman times. There was this guy that wrote a bunch of natural stuff back in 30 or 40 AD named Pliny the Elder. And they believe that he wrote about Sagrantino, which dates it back to Roman times. By the way, I love that name, Pliny the Elder. Dude should have been a rapper. Back to Sagrantino. It's got a nice nose. You can tell it's an Italian varietal. It's got that kind of thing going on, that old world thing. Plum, a little black tea, olive, really good. Long finish. Wow. By the way, Sagrantino is a wine that has the highest amount of antioxidants of any wine variety or grape variety that we know of. So it's good for you. And by the way, we'll be releasing that wine a little bit later this summer. If you want to find out when it's available or check out any of our wines or set up a tasting and a tour here at the vineyard, go to effenbergervineyards.com. You can also see previous episodes of this wonderful video series on our website and on YouTube. Well, that does it for this edition of What's Happening at Effenberger Vineyards, where we make effing good wine. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.